call the meeting to order, and I need to start out with any disclosures of pecuniary interest. Declare that closed, and need a mover and a seconder to go into closed session. Councillor McHugh and Councillor Quinte. All in favor? Thank you. Go into closed session, and we'll be back. Okay, I'll call this open session council to order, and we'll begin with our Indigenous land acknowledgements and national anthem and opening remarks. Thank you.
We begin this meeting by acknowledging that Quinte West is on Indigenous land that has been inhabited by Indigenous peoples from the beginning. We thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Long before today, there have been Indigenous peoples who have been the stewards of this place. In particular, we acknowledge the traditional territories of the Anishinaabeg, Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte First Nation. This territory is covered by numerous treaties. We recognize and deeply appreciate their historic connection to this place. We also recognize the contribution of the Métis, Inuit, and other Indigenous peoples have made, both in shaping and strengthening this community in particular, and our province and country as a whole. This acknowledgement serves as recognition of the contributions and historical significance of Indigenous peoples across Turtle Island and demonstrates our collective commitment to meet the promises and address the challenges of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission within our community.
Thank you. I'm going to ask if there are any announcements, and I'll start with Councillor Quinte, coming this way. Anything at this time from you, sir?
Testing, testing. Is this thing working? We got new microphones here. Hallelujah. Yeah, I just wanted to congratulate fellow councillor Shelley Steadall on becoming deputy mayor for the next few months. Won't that be exciting? I'm sure she's got lots to say. That's everything.
Councillor Armstrong.
Happy Doctor's Day today.
Yes.
And next week is Nurses Week, May 6th to the 12th. And also, we won't be back before then, but Mother's Day is coming up, so
Great.
that's all I got.
Thank you.
I noticed Councillor Sharp has a sign there to, I didn't want to take her thunder.
No,
It was already in my notes.
We'll get to her. It's okay. Thank you. Councillor Sharp, we'll get to Councillor Sharp. No, I'm not being polite when I say her. We'll get to Councillor Sharp. Thank you. Councillor Steadall.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just wanted to make note of the home show that was on the weekend. That was excellent. Well, the great vendors that were there, seemed to be a really good turnout, so there was some really good information that was available for all, and lots of, the groups were excellent. And then just a note is that on Saturday is one of our companies is celebrating their 30th anniversary, John Deere, the Deer Haven.
Dear John.
Deer Haven.
Yes, and there's free lunch, and you won't get a free tractor, but you might get a ride if you're lucky.
Correct.
You might. I don't.
That's right.
Anyways, you're right. Anything else?
That's
Sorry.
it. That's it.
I shouldn't be interfering.
No, that's it.
Okay,
Thank you.
Councillor Reid, are you ready for any announcement? Thank you.
Yes, I am. Thank you very, very much. Frankfurt Lions Club are starting their market, starting May 23rd and running right through until October 30th. It will be every Thursday morning from 8 until 1. If you are interested in bringing your baked goods, your fresh vegetables, your garden things, you can register this Saturday, May 4th, from 1 to 3 at the Frankfurt Lions Hall at 50 Center Street, or you can call Yona Westlake at 613-398-1438. So that's really exciting. There will be a market every Thursday from 8 until 1, starting May 23rd.
Okay. Councillor O'Neill?
Nothing tonight, thanks.
Councillor McHugh?
Yeah, I'm just want to express my sincere disappointment in CN Rail. They've re-announced they're going to be starting a train running through this area again. It'll be stopping in Belleville, next to be Cobourg and Port Hope. Train 641, we fought for this 22 years ago to get it to stop here. COVID took it away, and they're reinstating it, but they're not stopping here. I'm disappointed. I think with the base here and the number of people traveling between Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal on a regular basis, I know when it was running well years ago before COVID, that parking lot was full. There were people using it every day. And speaking of railway, with His Worship's permission, would it be all right if I ask Director Angelo if you'd just speak with regard to the whistle cessation? We're all getting a lot of calls. We made the comment it had to be stopped in 6 months, and 6 months has come and gone, but you can explain that it's not in our hands anymore. Thank you.
Yes, through your worship to council, I've been advised that since we've put up the speed indicator signs on Dug Hill Road, we sent all the notices off to the appropriate unions as required under legislation to have the train whistle stop. CN has agreed as well with everything we've done so far. We're just waiting for Transport Canada to issue the board order to have the whistle stopped. I'm assured that's supposed to be happening in the next couple of months. So I'm hoping sooner than that, but I'm just waiting for that order to be issued and the letter to be sent and sent to our city clerk, so then CN will actually stop the whistles from being blown.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Elliott?
Yes, I also want to comment on the train. It's nice to hear that it's back, but I find it very strange that they couldn't consider us this time. It seems kind of asinine to me that they can do a short 5 mile an hour or 5 mile separation between Port Hope and Cobourg and make 2 stops. I mean, our station here, as Councillor McHugh said earlier, has a big catchment area. I know northwestern Prince Edward County, there was people from the Consicon area and that used it along with Brighton and you know, our rural areas too. So it wasn't just Trenton proper. It had a fair draw for ridership, and I think it was successful until as COVID come along and they discontinued it because everybody didn't go to work anymore. And but I think the need is still there, and I would hope that Mr. Williams, I know he's going to lobby. I know I've talked to the mayor that he's been talking to Ryan on it. We'll try and get them to reconsider Trenton Junction because I think there's a need there, and I hope that we'll reconsider it. And anyway, other than that, I think we had a successful Good Roads convention. There was some interesting things at times. I thought some of it was a little lackluster this year compared to other years, but I know Councillor McHugh and Armstrong and I sat in on one of the red light, I won't say the red light cameras, but the cameras for speeding zones and school zones as our neighbors in Belleville and Brighton are going to implement, so we better be prepared to and I know we're going to look into it. I think you're going to bring a report back, Mr. Angelo, too, but anyway, it was an interesting time, and I thank everybody for their participation and work and dedication in it. Thank you.
Councillor Card?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think that this may have been mentioned at previous meetings, but I did want to shout out the Fashion for Foundation show at the Battawa Community Center tomorrow night at 5:30. Raising funds for Trenton Memorial Hospital Foundation, and they work in conjunction with Vivacious and other local fashion stores, and it is a great time. Last I heard, they did have some tickets available. That may be not true anymore, but yeah, entertainment by the Cold Creek Cloggers, and I think should be a wonderful night. I have a lot of family going, so great event.
Good, thank you. Councillor Kutsovas? Councillor Sharp?
Nothing tonight. It's covered.
Yes, you got to
Thank
tell
you.
about the sign.
Oh, well, that was, I was just brought it again because it is Thank a Doctor Day today. And I know we all got the signs a couple weeks ago and we've had them. And I did actually call my doctor to thank him, left a message. So that was good because I'm usually calling with him, can I get an appointment? Can I get an appointment? And so, no, I just wanted to highlight that, which has been highlighted. And Councillor Stedall and myself will be at the fashion show as well. Not as models, but we will be there to support the cause, and it's also for some of it for Three Oaks as well, and to our local hospital.
Great.
So, no, all good. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Boyce?
Nothing, Your Worship.
You want to tell about Councillor O'Neill getting married, or you're going to tell about,
No, not today.
you're not telling anything you've done
No,
recently?
it was a great week. It was a great week, and we'll be making
And
an announcement soon.
you were diving in the water and you found a ring or something?
Yeah, yeah. Yep, I'm very happy to announce that I got engaged last week, so,
Congratulations,
yeah, thank you.
congratulations.
and,
The gift's in the mail.
haven't set a date yet, so she's still got 48 hours to decide. Thanks.
I got some real hot sauce. if you
Yeah.
need it. Well, congratulations,
thank
that's
you.
good stuff, very good. Councillor Freeman, sorry, right, sorry.
Nothing from me, thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, I got a couple of things, other things anyways, that I want to mention before we go on. Highway of Heroes, Trees for Life. I'm going to ask Director Angelo just to give us some more information on that, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Many of you may recall that it's been a number of years ago, we've partnered with Trees for Life and Highway to Heroes for tree plantings throughout Quinte West. Through His Worship's efforts this year, we were successful in getting 200 trees. Originally, we had ordered 100, but we actually got 200 delivered this week, so we can plant them throughout the communities of Quinte West in the next coming months. So I'm really proud that we're successful in getting those, and that's a lot to do with His Worship and Council's support for Highway to Heroes and Trees for Life.
That's right. So what's your plan to distribute the trees besides the ones we're going to plant?
Well, there's two different programs on right now. So there's the seedling giveaway on Saturday at the Duncan Memorial Arena. That's happening from 9 till 3, and I encourage residents alike in Quinte West to show up early because I believe there's 1,000 seedlings that we partnered with Quinte Conservation Authority for giving away that day, and they usually come on a first-come, first-served basis, so they'll go fast. The Trees for Life, we have a number of locations throughout Quinte West in different parks and different communities, both Frankfurt, Battawa, Trenton, and Sydney Ward, where we're going to be planting these 200 trees throughout the communities in the next couple of months.
What do we call the planting just on the Glen Miller Bridge to the west on the north side of 401?
Through Your Worship, that's the Highway to Heroes tree planting program.
And when did we plant those trees?
Those are, off the top of my head, a couple of years ago. I think those are done the same year we planted all along Highway 2 by CFB Trenton as well, so
Yeah, so it's got to be more than 2 years, it's 4.
quite possibly, yeah.
We planted the first one.
Got your mic on?
We planted the first one at the hangar at the east end,
Yes,
and then I think it was about 2015-ish.
we came along number 2 highway.
Oh, well, that was after 401 started and then Highway 2 in conjunction.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not arguing, but I remember we planted
Yep.
the first one. Yes.
At
and then we came along, I thought 2 and 401, but anyways, they're doing okay, they're doing well. And why do we leave the grass growing amongst the trees on the 401? What's the purpose? Because I often get people asking me to cut that grass, but we leave it there so the butterflies,
It's Your Worship, it's a natural environment encouraging the nature species to pollinate in that area, similar to the garden, the natural garden that's created across from the LCBO on Front Street here in Trent by the Lower Trent Conservation Authority, that natural state.
Okay, anything else? Councillor Armstrong?
Are there a maximum number of seedlings a person can get?
Your Worship, through your Councilor, I don't believe so. There is 1,000 that we've partnered with Quinte Conservation Authority, so they typically go fairly fast. You're encouraged to bring a bucket of some sort to put your seedlings in and take them away and plant them.
And if you take them, it's your responsibility to plant them, not just leave them in the bucket, because they will die. If you plant them, they have a better chance of living.
Roots in first, right?
Yeah, that's, I'd put the leaves in first, but I don't think you'll have any leaves, so just go with the roots, it's okay. Councillor Stedall.
Just one thing that wasn't mentioned is the Kiwanis Festival is the fishing derby this week.
Go
Well,
ahead,
sorry,
yes.
I'm not going to, I just know it's this weekend. It's a big event for our community and lots of people will be
You
coming.
had the pamphlet, didn't you have the pamphlet with you? Okay, so you go ahead and talk. Who wants to talk about it? I don't mind, but I'm not looking for.
Don't have a pamphlet.
You don't have it? Okay, so the walleye fishing derby is this weekend, and it starts just after midnight. So the boats will be on the water, and Inspector Reeve will have people that are working, and hopefully fire department has a rescue boat that we don't need, but it'll be available if it's needed. So people will be out there, and I dare say one of the best spots that they tell me. Every time I go, I never catch anything anyways, but other than the cold. So they tell me under the bridge on the east side is, and then I guess maybe the west side too, but that's where they usually catch the big ones. So I've never had that fortune. I've gone in the Derby, and the most I ever caught once was a trout in the river. And I didn't know whether I could keep it or not, so I let it go. Anyways, that's the most, but that's my success. But doesn't mean there aren't good fishermen. There are, and they know where they are and how to catch them. So that's happening on starting early, I guess you'd say 12:01 Saturday morning, and goes on all weekend. And there'll be weigh-in stations. I know there'll be one over at the arena, and likely throughout the city and Brighton as well. So it's all good. Anything else? I want to mention this. I'm really proud of the Golden Hawks. They did really well. Just one goal short. That's all it takes. But I also I want to thank our first responders, both the fire and the police. Over the winter, they've visited and been a part of many of the games and the activities that go on. And because of their presence, I believe, people respond respectfully and do what we should do as opposed to what we might do. So I thank them very much for all the help, and it's been great, The boys played well, played hard, dug right down to the bottom of their feet to try to make winners, but not quite. And Frank Robinson, who was one of the scouts for the Huskies and the Hawks, was in Saginaw, Michigan just recently, and there was a meeting with I guess you'd say the junior hockey. And a fella come up to him and said, "Oh, you're from Trenton?" "Yes." He said, "Do you ever get to watch the games?" He said, "Yes, I do." And he said, "Do you know a guy there that used to sometimes put on a referee shirt, had a drum, and threw rubber chickens on the ice?" "Yes," he said, "I sure do." And he's still there. So I thought that was of interest to Wayne Brill to know that he's well known throughout the world and respected as a Dynamite fan because he does work hard at those games. So thanks very much, Wayne. That's appreciated. And to all the other people connected directly or indirectly to either the Huskies or the Hawks, I think we had a great winter, a great season, and our facilities, the ice in Frankfurt is still the best. Yes, it is. It stays harder, and for some reason it just is better surface for. That's my opinion, and I'm not playing, so don't think it affects my ability to score. It doesn't, but I've felt that way, so I must say what I'm thinking. I try to say what I think, but our crews at both arenas worked hard all winter, keeping the facilities clean and in good condition for all the activities, whether it be figure skating, public skating, men's hockey, or whatever. So I thank all of the staff, Director Grimman, for the work they've done in keeping those facilities in good condition and operational. Okay, anything else anybody's remembered that they did forget but didn't quite forget? Okay, go ahead.
Sorry,
Counselor
Mr.
Shaw.
Mayor, I did forget, and maybe it was covered, but if it wasn't, the Frankfurt Youth Center fundraising dinner
Yeah, that's
is
right.
this Saturday, and I'm not sure if they have any tickets, left for sale, but I have the contact information here.
I have
but-
2 tickets I'll give you.
Well, there you go. I'm going, I've got my tickets, but I just, thought if we can get that message out, the Frankfurt Youth Center fundraising dinner this Saturday at Battawa Community Center, and doors open at 5, and they have a silent auction, and the phone number here is 613-398-1211, Jamie. So, I think we covered most of the events this weekend, I didn't want to forget that one.
No, that's fine. I agree. No, I'm not disagreeing. Okay, all right, so. Okay, I need approval of the agenda. I did the disclosure, so it's done. I need approval. Councilor Armstrong moves, second by Councilor McHugh. Any comments? All in favor? Thank you. Resolution minutes of the regular council meeting held on April 17th be approved. Mover and seconder for the regular council meeting. Councilor Allier, Councilor Card. Move and second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Thank you. Did I miss anybody? Councilor Reed, do you have a question? No? Okay, move the next one. Minutes of the closed session. I guess I should have done that too, yeah. All right. I'll do both. The minutes of the regular and minutes of the closed session meeting held on April 17th be approved. So all in favor of both those. Okay, thank you. All right, delegations done. Public input. Anyone here for public input, please come on up. State your name and let us know what's going on. Thank you.
Joel Fox, 568 Fox Road. I just came today to give you guys a book recommendation. It's about housing, so it's about the topic that everyone loves to talk about. I'm going to be doing a book club on it. Anyone's free to join, and I know you guys are busy, so I don't expect that you guys necessarily can join. But yeah, I've got a bunch here, so you're free to take them. The one thing about this book that I think really recommends it as a book to read about housing, there's lots of books about housing, but this one, it's very non-political. The author shows a lot of empathy for all sides involved, empathy for NIMBYs, not in my backyard, as well as, all other views. And it also has very concrete, practical things that local governments can do. It's very much focused on the local level. And so that's why it's a book that I want to recommend. And feel free to get it from me at the end.
Thank you. If anybody needs it or wants it, they'll contact you, Joel. Thank you. Anything else? Anything else? Anyone else register or? No? Okay, keep going then. Okay, corporate committee reports, resolution, moving a second, I'll get for this one, please. Councillor McHugh moves, seconded by Councillor Boyce. Okay, sorry, gotta read it. QW 2024-00034 by Brian Johnson, Director of Corporate Services, regarding delegation of powers and duties policy implementation. Resolution that staff report by Brian, Director Johnson of Corporate Services, regarding delegation of powers, duties, policy implementation be received, and that council approve corporate policy A09 policy -0003, delegation of powers and duties policy. Any questions? Councillor Elliott.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. I understand what you're doing going through this. I was just wondering, could you do a comparison or give us an idea of what this will do over and above what we already have in place as far as a corporate policy, a delegation of powers? I just wondered if you had some, information that you could maybe provide us with that this will do over and above, and also help to streamline maybe the approval process as far as staffing and what have you in that regard.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Allier. This is really just putting into words what we currently do with delegated powers and duties. We always pass them by bylaw. The Municipal Act states that we have to have this policy, and when we did our review of our entire policy book that's ongoing right now, we noticed we were missing it. So this is just really, I would almost classify it as housekeeping to make sure that we're compliant with the Municipal Act.
I just wondered if there's any new categories or expanded over and above what we normally have had in place.
Nothing.
Just for
Nothing
anybody that might think that it's a whole new, scheme that's going on in a sense, so.
Nothing new.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? All in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay, next one is that resolution staff report QW-2024-00072 by Josh Masinski, Manager Legislative Services regarding licensing agreement with 8-Wing, and this is quite extensive, so it's what we need to do to allow for parking and so on at the air show. Mover, Councilor McHugh, Councilor Armstrong, moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? No? All, question, go ahead.
Thank you. If we're letting them park in city property, do we have any liability for that?
I would imagine we do, but who wants to answer that?
Through you to Councillor O'Neill. No, these agreements remove any liability from the city.
Thank you.
Okay. So if somebody gets hurt on our property because they're parked there, that doesn't give us any more responsibility or any less, or what? I guess that's my question. I'm thinking of the guy that a few years ago tripped on the dock and a fishing derby. And we were part of the process to settle that claim. All right, okay, you can get back to us on that. That's, yeah, I know I may have said too much, but, all right, are you okay, Councilor Neal? Oh, Councilor Stidham, sorry.
I had a quick question on these locations. During the event, will there be, it's up to the organizers, I guess there's going to be buses that are going to be running from these locations? That's the plan? That's why and that's coming from Quinte Transit? Those, or is it separate?
Go ahead, I know.
Through your worship, it's a combination between Quinte Transit as well as what 8-Wing CFB Trenton has arranged for busing as well. So they're going to have large-scale buses coming in conjunction with Quinte Transit, picking up and dropping up passengers from these different locations in Quinte West.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? What are we guessing the numbers will be at the air show? I agree. 100,000, isn't it? Isn't that what we're above? Sorry.
I'm pretty sure that's what came the last time.
50,000 a day is what they're selling. 50,000 tickets per day.
50,000 a day. Or
Sorry, that's what their cap is per day. So 50,000 on Saturday, 50,000 on Sunday.
Okay. Let's hope it works, eh? Yeah. Okay. Any other, all in favor, I guess? Carried, thank you. Okay, the next one I got is that resolution, the staff report, Quinte West 2024-0066 by Director Denowden, Treasurer, regarding investment results first quarter be received. That one moved by Councillor Quince, seconded by Councillor Reid. Okay. Any comments or questions? Anyone? Anyone? All in favor? Carried, thank you. The next one is report Quinte West 2024-00055 by Melanie Macer, Manager of Purchasing and Risk Management, regarding 2024 first quarter insurance and risk management update be received. Moved by Councillor McHugh, seconded by Councillor Boyce. Questions, comments, all in favor? Thank you. Did I miss somebody? No, okay, all right. Next one is staff report QW 2024-0056 by Melanie Macer, Manager of Purchasing Risk Management, regarding 2024 first quarter purchasing status and non-standard purchasing updates be received. Okay. Comments or questions, or will I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Elliott, second by Councillor Sharp. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Great, thank you. Next one is staff report Quinte West 2024-00070 by Kelly West, Manager of Planning Services, regarding summary of proposed provincial policy statement changes and other planning legislation be received. And further, that council direct staff to submit comments as noted herein through the ERO website as the City of Quinte West's formal response on the proposed provincial planning statement 2024 and Bill 185. I guess I'd ask Manager West, do you have any comments further than this, or are you good?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'm open to questions, or I do have a little bit that I could run through the report. I know it's quite lengthy and that I tried to synthesize it down.
All right, any comments or questions? That's what.
Let's hear the report.
Pardon?
Yeah, let's hear the review maybe and then.
Okay. All in favor?
She wants to give the report, a briefing.
Still give a report.
Well, okay, go ahead. I thought that, I read your report. I thought it was quite well done. You told me what was new and what wasn't, and anyways, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, to the rest of council. So the purpose of this report was to provide you all with some information on the latest provincial proposals for both the policy statement and also some changes that they're making to legislation that impacts planning, the 15 in total. You might remember last year, probably around the same time, the province also released a different version of the PPS, and there was a lot of input that went through. And so the province took that information and synthesized it and now has re-released a new PPS and this Bill 185, which is known as Cutting Red Tape to Build More Homes Act. And it simultaneously reintroduces some things from last year, but also repeals some other things that were in place through other bills. And please don't ask me to remember the numbers because there's been so many lately. But so the purpose of the report is to ask council's blessing to put forward some comments through to the province through the ERO posting. And it's quite a tight turnaround time. They're only giving 30 days to comment, so we have to comment by May the 12th, which is 11 days from now. So the way I structured the report, I'll just try and go quickly because there is a lot through there, is the first one is the ERO posting, and I tried to give you links to those ERO postings that you could easily go to the websites to get at the information, is the provincial provincial planning statement. And it's broken down into various chapters that deal with different aspects of planning. And of course, number one is about increasing housing supply. And I felt like a lot of some of the updates or new policy in that Quinte West, we've already actually looked at those and implemented some of those in our new council-approved OP. So I think we're in good shape there in a lot of them, and in particular, some of the policies that they're talking about for general intensification. In our new OP, we've included some increased numbers for intensification, 20% in Trenton and 10% in Frankfurt and Ottawa. So I think we're aligned with the province there. Also, they're bringing back the definition of affordable housing, which they had taken out last year. They've put all of that back in. We're in good shape in our OP, and we have those definitions already in place. You'll remember last year when the province proposed severances being allowed in the prime agricultural area, and based on, again, that stakeholder feedback, particularly from the agricultural community, the province has now pulled back that policy, and they're not carrying forward with the proposal to allow for lot creation through severances in prime ag. We're going to try and direct, as we always have, development towards rural settlement areas or urban settlement areas that can be serviced. The one update that they are proposing for prime ag is to permit more housing for generational farmers or for farm workers to create dwellings on those prime ag lots, but not to allow that they would be through severance. Another one that I didn't really highlight in the report, but also that's not carrying forward policies related to severances in the rural lands. In 2023's version, they had included multi-lot residential, which we were interpreting as sort of rural estate subdivisions that we used to allow, pre-2005 PPS. But that wording has since been taken out, and they're just sticking with residential development like lot creation that is suitable, has suitable conditions for septic and water services, which is something that the Committee of Adjustment, when they're looking at severance proposals, applications, we do that anyways. Also, in chapter number 2, they've refined the planning horizon from a minimum of 20 years, not more than 30 years. Again, in our new OP, we had a planning horizon of 25 years, so we've kind of split the difference there. I think we're on par with that. One thing that is also, I think, a change that we're not used to is that any requests for boundary changes to settlement areas can happen at any time rather than under current regime that it has to happen during a comprehensive review stage. So that, I know we've had during our OP update, we did have quite a few requests for boundary expansions, particularly in Frankfurt and that we did not entertain because they didn't meet our land needs assessment. But I think if this policy does get approved, that those requests could come back through to us in short order rather than us having to wait until the next time we review our OP. One of the other ones I wanted to highlight was around agricultural systems. So this new PPS is a truncation of the growth plan, which Quinte West is not covered by, but the Greater Golden Horseshoe is covered by. They're getting rid of that and they're truncating it into the PPS. And so one of the things that the growth plan had was all those municipalities had to develop an agricultural system approach. We're familiar with the natural heritage system that we've created and we've been encouraged in the last few iterations of the PPS to implement. Now there's an agricultural system that was done at the province level for those Greater Golden Horseshoe municipalities. So now with it being pushed into the PPS, that means all municipalities across Ontario will be required to use this methodology, this mapping that OMAFRA has created or will be creating. Not 100% clear on that. It could impact us. In our new OP, we do have prime ag, of course, mapped out and designated. Don't know yet if the province will push it back to us to say you need to do some modifications, or if they will say this is good, we like your mapping that you've decided on for prime ag. So that might be a sort of an up in the air kind of item.
Tell them to take their time.
They have been taking their time, right? We've been waiting over a year. And then the other piece for the provincial policy statement I wanted to mention is about early engagement with Indigenous communities. The language in the document is getting a little bit stronger in terms of that, all municipalities should be consulting early in the process with Indigenous interests and groups. Then under the Bill 185, so the piece that's dealing with all of the various pieces of legislation, including the Planning Act, Development Charges Act, and several others, I wanted to talk a little bit about the fee. If there are 4 different things, there are the fee refund provisions. So I think, again, like I said, don't ask me what bill it was, where they said, if you don't meet your timelines for Planning Act applications, you will have to refund monies to those applicants. We still have to meet our timelines under the Planning Act, but they're removing the requirement that we would have to refund any fees. Through that portion of that being in place, we didn't have to refund any fees, thankfully. I think we met all of our timelines, or we had very understanding applicants when we didn't meet them, for reasons of back and forth with a developer or a property owner, but we don't have to worry about that, so, phew. Municipal pre-application process is now being voluntary and not a mandatory process, and I'll talk a little bit, because that is the one piece that I would like to submit formal comments to, and I'll talk a little bit about that. The settlement area boundary expansions I talked about. Now also an applicant can take that appeal to the OLT if we say, no, we're not going to expand our boundaries. So again, if we get those ones that were coming in during the OP process, we could possibly have appeals to the OLT. Also, then, again, this is one where they're trying to build those homes faster, so they're talking about that the province would establish some criteria for a standardized housing, so you build this kind of box and you put it on this size lot and you just automatically get a building permit. I think that's a sort of future item that we'll see. There'll be more work has to be done on that. One of the things that I wanted to comment on in terms of the ERO, and there's a lot, and we certainly could, but as I mentioned, it's such a small window, and we wanted to focus on a couple of things that we really felt passionate about, if I can say that, is that the elimination of the third-party appeal rights. So again, in a previous bill, there was third-party appeal rights were removed for plans of subdivision, minor variance and consents. Now in this Bill 185, they're also proposing that it be eliminated for official plan amendments, zoning bylaw amendments, and zoning bylaws. I think this really takes away from the public to engage with the city and helping shape the policies and the regulations that shape it. So I would recommend that the city provide comment to the province indicating that we are not in favor of this proposed change to the Planning Act. Then the last one is the, again, I mentioned the removal of the mandatory pre-consultation. So we do a lot of, my staff do a lot of pre-consulting with developers and landowners to gauge what it is exactly that they want to do on their property, what kind of development, and looking at what is the issues. We involve other departments, we involve other agencies, and we really get to scope out what that development's going to look like and what kinds of information we need from the developers to, in order for us to move that application smoothly through the process. If we don't have that pre-consultation, if we're not being required, or we can have a developer say, no, the province says I don't need to do that with you, I'm just going to submit my application. I fear that that's going to really actually bog down the process, because we'll be like, okay, well, wait a minute, you don't have a traffic impact study to talk about your development and how it's going to impact our roads. Then they'll have to go back, be a lot of back and forth when issues come up through the process, and it'll just end up slowing it down. So I would recommend that the city provide comment to the province indicating that we support a mandatory pre-consultation process. And that was really quick. I probably talked too fast, but that's it.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions? Councillor Sharp, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Ms. West, for that excellent and detailed report and summation. But as in your report, you really tried to certainly help, I know as a councillor, it helped me a lot because I don't sit on planning, so it was very helpful. And I just want to also comment, the pre-consultation, I think, should be mandatory. It really helps the applicant and the staff and all of us as we go forward, and it's such a benefit to an applicant. It truly is. It may not feel it at the time, But it really is. So thank you for those recommendations.
Councillor Stedall?
I would echo that as well. I appreciate staff getting back to us so quickly on this when the legislation just came out, and that we do have a response. And I would also, I would agree with the elimination of the third-party appeals. I think that that's something that our public would want us to make sure that we comment back on, is that it should not be eliminated.
Okay. Go ahead. Councillor Card?
Thank you, Your Worship, and I would agree with both of those through you. It was a little bit surprising. I don't see how, I mean, getting rid of the third-party appeal, I guess I could see how that would, at the cost of the public's ability to appeal, but the mandatory pre-consultation, it really, maybe Kelly, I had another one to comment on too, or Brian, but yeah, I guess some of the bigger developers that have, standing relationships with the consultants or in-house, I mean, it maybe wouldn't affect them, but a lot of the kind of mom and pop or small developers, it'll really be them that maybe would make mistakes and would have a longer process. And I guess my other question was, I'm really interested about the standardized housing designs. That's something that I've been interested for a long time. Drive through Trenton, see the wartime 1.5 story. I think they were called strawberry box homes. What practically do you think, to read the crystal ball, look into the crystal ball, do you think that will have practical impacts on building in smaller community like Quinte West or Ontario in general? Is that something that could come here? We'll see some of those pre-approved housing plans that could push the needle, move the needle on housing.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Councillor Card, yeah, definitely think that could come to Quinte West. I'd be curious to see what exactly the standardization entails, whether it's the size of the building, the height, that kind of thing, and the placement on the lot. We're seeing a much more variety of housing in our subdivisions now too. So it'll be, I'd be curious to see what the province says about, yeah, you can have only single detached houses here, or you can have a mix. So I think that it will definitely be something to watch for.
Okay. Anyone else? Well, thank you very much. Yeah, there's a lot in there. There sure is, and how it plays out is going to be interesting, because the province is speedy at responding to official plans, plan updates, and how we keep everything in order here, so that we're legal and everything we do is proper. That's the trick when it takes so long for them to get back to us. And there's a lot. You've covered a lot of ground there, and yeah, I'm I guess you'd say a little bit lost at where I even start on some of that, because it just isn't simple. But we will be looking at Woodland Heights on the weekend. We'll have a chance to be out there and see what the plans are and how they're moving forward. I haven't been out there in a month, so I'm sure. And then the Battawa development is going on too. It's not Battawa Development Corporation, but I know there is some work being done there now on infrastructure and housing, and we're supposed to have I think some affordable housing being built there, whatever that means. I hope it means that people can afford to live there, and I'm sure the builders and developers are all working together to make it as efficient and as effective as they possibly can. Yeah, there's no easy ground on what you've said, but I think the bottom line for all of us is that what you put in place and what we have here is compliant with the province, and we don't have any option. We have to be compliant. We have to make sure that what we do meets. And the other part of all this, as far as I'm concerned, falls over to the Public Works and over to Director Angelo. We want to build houses. We want to build them as fast as we can, but we can't just let the sewage run into the bay. Or can we? I guess we can't, right, sir? So all of the build is dependent on the infrastructure that we have in place, and how we can manage the infrastructure and do what needs to be done so that we are not always at capacity or running over when we get a storm and the excess is not going through the proper treatment. So that's all part and part of this, and I think the province needs to step up. They can put all the policies together they want, but they've got to step up and say, you know, here we are, we're willing to help you do the infrastructure upgrades that you've got to do, and here's some financial support to help you do it. That's where I think that's where we're at in this process. So, anything else, Director Jardine? Are you good? You're not in any kind of what you'd say discuss, or you're satisfied with all the?
Yeah, thank you, Worship. Yeah, no, nothing to add other than what Ms. West presented. Thank you.
You're good then. Okay, thank you. All right. Matt Tracy, okay.
10-4 up top.
Okay. 10-4, or, yeah. Okay, sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
Excuse me, Worship, but I'm not sure if we got a all in favour on that one.
No, all in favor.
Oh, all in favor.
We did before she gave her report, yeah.
We did it before Kelly spoke, I think.
We had that much confidence in her, yes.
We knew if she got it through your office, we'd be good.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. I should say that we know that you work together to make this happen. Thank you. Thank you. So where am I now? Matt Tracy, right here. Okay, resolution, staff report 2024-00069 by Matt Tracy, Manager of Water and Wastewater Services regarding Frankfurt wastewater filler building roof be received. And that council direct staff to reallocate a $121,000 of surplus funds from the Trenton filter building roof project for the Frankfurt filter building roof project. So that's what we need to do. I need a mover and a seconder for this. Councilor McHugh moves it. Seconder for Councilor Freeman. Councilor Freeman moves it. Seconds it, sorry. Okay. Questions? Questions? Comments? All in favor? Thank you. Okay, that's good. Okay. Next one that I have is that staff report 2024-00071 by Matt Tracy, Manager of Water and Wastewater Services regarding 2023 Stormwater Collection System Annual Performance Report be received. Moved by Councilor McHugh, seconded by Councilor Sharp. Questions or comments? Questions or comments? Go ahead, Councilor.
I can comment firsthand at the water, how you say, redirection system that the city built that runs parallel to Country Club and Catalina is working fantastic. I love it. I go walk over there on a regular basis, especially when there's a major rain event, and watch that thing do its job. Thank you very much to the council of the day and Director Angelo, who I know sort of spearheaded that project, and the contractors who built it, who for 2 years worked in mud the entire time they were digging that system. So that stormwater project works perfectly. Thanks.
What year did we build that?
It was 2008 was when they were finishing it up. So started in 2006 and finished that ditch in 2008. There's been some more work since, but that big ditch was done in that time frame.
System we inherited, wasn't it?
This council inherited, but it was council's decision to go ahead and build that.
Well, we fixed it. We had to fix it because of the water coming off the farmland and so on down.
Yeah, that's why the ditch was built, was to deflect the water coming off that farmland.
Yeah, anyways, it's all working. That's good news.
Well, that's just part of all of the stormwater management, is just one part that I observe on a regular basis. I know there's many other stormwater facilities all across the city that do their best, I'm sure. Thanks.
Okay. All right, do I need an all in favor? Or
Yep.
All in favor, I guess. All carried, thank you. Okay, I got proclamation that council proclaimed the month of May as Food Allergy Awareness Month in the city of Quinte West. Food allergy, okay? And further that the Quinte West sign and the Veteran Skyway Bridge be illuminated in the color teal blue for the month of May 2024, pending scheduling control or conflicts or confirmation. All in favor? I guess I get a maybe I need to move in a second or first.
Councilor Reed's.
Councilor Reed moves, Councilor Kosova seconds. All right, any comments? Are we good? All in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay, correspondence, I got printed information. I need to move in a second for printed. Councilor Stedall moves, seconded by Councilor Boyce. Any comments or questions? Go ahead, Councilor O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have two questions, one for Director Jardine and the second one for Dr. Dowden. The first one for Director Jardine is the letter from the Ministry of Finance Ontario about the option to create a residential subclass municipal vacant home tax incentives where we could reduce the tax rate by 35% for up to 35 years. Do you feel this would be something, an incentive that would be worthwhile that we should consider? Or how do you feel on this one?
Through your worship, I'd probably defer most of that question to Director Dowden in terms of the value through kind of tax collection. I think it definitely warrants a conversation. I think there's a couple of things coming out around vacant properties and abilities for municipalities to action either additional charges or whatever it might be. With all of these things, I think my initial response is always on the what it would take to collect and what the mechanism to collect would be. I think that would be a challenge. That would be my initial comment, but I definitely think there's this plus a number of other pieces coming out from recent legislation that could give municipalities additional tools that we should look into a bit more deeply, yeah.
Okay. Who's next? Councilor?
So from a finance perspective, same, yeah, the vacant home tax, we don't know enough about the legislation, kind of how we can actually implement the vacant home tax. So we're kind of curious to see how that works, and then maybe see some examples of how others have rolled it out. I think it was City of Ottawa and Toronto who've had the program, so see how they've administered it and see how successful it is. And then the multi-res tax ratio, definitely something we can look into before budget in terms of seeing if this is something worthwhile. It's basically a shift of taxes when we change ratios, but definitely something we can consider.
Can I just comment on that, Your Worship? The
Councillor
same topic. So I was actually going to also request maybe a staff report come back on those two items. The issue with the vacant home tax, that has been an administrative nightmare in other municipalities, and I'm not sure that we want to, that might be something that in our municipality we might want to go down that road. But the 35, it's not 35%, it's a 35% reduction of the one rate that we have right now for new multi-res, and right now new multi-res are legislated to be at a equivalent to a residential rate. That can be implemented right away. That doesn't have to wait. That bylaw can pass right now with building permits that can go on immediately. So if we have any multi-residential units, so anything more than 7 units, new apartment buildings that are being built that have a building permit right now, we could actually pass a bylaw that creates a subclass so that they would get that reduction in their taxes starting in January 2025. That's my understanding. That's why I was going to request that we have a staff report come back on that, because if we do have anybody that is going to be building a new multi-res, that would be something we could implement right away. So that was my request, is that we get a staff report back sooner than budget.
Like anything we defer in terms of taxes, it's got to cost us money. How else do you do anything how do you do it and it doesn't cost us anything?
So
That's correct. Yes, any kind of money that's given away, or vacant home tax, any of these, you're right, it's a shift in taxation. We have to find the funds somewhere to operate the city. But yeah, if it is a motion of Councillor Stedall, we can put a staff report explaining some of the pros and cons of implementing either one of these new policies.
Yeah, okay, I'm not disagreeing, I'm just trying to figure out how we do it, because I'd like to be able to defer mine too.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Moved by Counselor Stedall, seconded by Counselor McHugh. Staff report be brought back. Thank you. Oh, okay, go ahead, Counselor Card.
I still have my second question, if that's okay?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Then I'll
And
come.
I too, like, I question some of these things because we still need the money, and if we take it out, and sometimes they're announcing stuff that we really can't do, as far as I'm concerned. But the second question is on the 2024 annual repayment limit. We seem to be about 70% of the limit. I feel we'll be doing a lot of borrowing in 2024. Is there any concerns that we're going to go over the repayment limit in 2024 by staff?
Through your mayor, no, there's no concern that we'll get near the limit in 2024. It's more of a long-term, which we'll have more discussions when we talk about development charge study, the wastewater water rates, and as well as our long-term financial planning this year. But at this point, what's been approved by council is well under the ARL.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Card.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would support a staff report on those two issues, those two topics as well. I would say that if we're going to think about it as an incentive to generate more multi-residential, I would question that those that are in the system, those developers have already decided to based on kind of market forces. So I don't necessarily know that I would support giving them money if they were at the tax break when they're already building it, just based on market forces. I think I'd see it more as a tool to get those projects that are on the fence to kind of push it over into the green light. But I'm very curious if a staff report's a good idea.
Okay, we'll get the report back and look at it. Counselor Stedall.
So, and just to follow up on that, one of the reasons that I would suggest that we might want to take a look at is that the developers can actually get additional funding at reduced rates at CMHC. They get points for it. So if the municipality does offer some kind of incentive like this, and this is for new builds, so this isn't going to affect money that we're already receiving. This is for future money. It's just that it helps the developer be able to tap into other resources so that they can get these new homes built. But the other comments I had on the other printed matter was the ARL. I guess there's more information and to do with our debt coming on Monday night at our audit and risk. There's a report that's on that will speak to it.
Well, they're coming back, just rescheduling.
Sorry, there's an audit and risk committee on Monday to deal with financial statements, the debt, the reserves, interest, investment. Anyways, all of those reports will come to council at the following meeting after the audit and risk meeting.
Okay.
And two other report items that are on here that I would ask that we would support, and that's the resolution from Hastings County regarding the sustainable infrastructure funding for small rural municipalities. That's item H. And item I as well, the resolution from Loyalist Township supporting the resolution for the County of Renfrew regarding the rural and small urban municipalities' affordability of water and wastewater systems. I just think that if we could pull those and support them, I would. That's my recommendation. H and I.
Okay, I don't have any problem supporting them. No. H and I, we can write a letter in support. Yeah. And I did talk to, as was mentioned earlier, about train 651. I have spoken with Ryan Williams, and I did let Todd Smith know on the weekend. I happened to run into him. And Mark Gerritsen also sent him an email letting him know we need his support. And Eric Camelese, who's worked for the rail system for us in support of what we need for a good many years. He's also on board, and I've got to talk to him. I just haven't had time today to get to him, but I know that Eric will help us any way he can. So, yeah, we're all on the same train. We just need the right stop. And you know, it really confuses me because we had the stop and we lobbied for the stop and we demonstrated the value. And as also been stated earlier, Port Hope and Coburg both have stops, and they're 6 miles apart?
5, 6 miles.
Yeah. So anyways, yes, okay, we'll support those, no problem. We'll get a letter out on support.
Yep. Your Worship, if I may, we have a couple motions at this point that are up in the air. If we could just move through them and vote on them. I have, for the first one, just that all of the items be received and filed. I have a mover and seconder for that. The second one was that staff report back with information regarding those two policies, and I have a mover and seconder for that. And then the last one from Councillor Stedall, that council support items H and I. I just need a seconder.
I'll second it.
Councillor McHugh seconds.
We'll pass them all at once.
Pass them all at once, yes. All in favor, that's all I need to know. Thank you very much. All
Thank
of
you.
them.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Anybody else, I guess under the printed in particular, if you can read the non-printed, tell me what you think. Otherwise, the bylaws be read a first, second, and third time so that I can sign them. Councillor McHugh moves. Councillor Elliott, second. Any questions on the bylaws? All in favor? Thank you. Carried. Okay, I think I'm at the confirmation, unless there's something else anybody has before we take confirmation. Otherwise, we're good. Fantastic. Fabulous. Okay, confirmation, moving to seconder, 2 for adjournment. Oh, anything from staff that I need to, Inspector, I have thanked you for the work you did, over all of you. Yeah, it's crazy what's going on 401. It's just like, yeah. I admire the people who respond to those situations. Yeah, it's just disastrous, and everybody's in a hurry, and they're going to increase the speed limit so you can go faster. Well, and I would think they forgot to tell us that they're going to increase the fines. Is that correct?
Thank you, Your Worship. I don't know what the status of the fines are, but I can tell you that even though the increase is going from 100 kilometers an hour to 110 kilometers an hour, stunt driving charges are still at 150, so it's not an automatic up to 160 for the ones where we tow the vehicles. So the maximum speed remains the same, and there will still be consequences for the drivers who, exceed significantly over the posted limit.
Yeah. Anything else? Anyone? Everybody's good? 2 for adjournment? Thank you very much. Tomorrow's.
Personnel committee.